Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I got the 59 Strat out today. Just got back from a few days hanging out with Philip Sayce on tour. That was a lot of fun. But I've been getting kind of this little kind of sitar kind of rattles, and every once in a while, you know, I've been hearing some unwanted noises down at the bridge area. Inspected the saddles and found there'd be some, you know, some extra grooves, some ridges, and that can promote some string breaking. So I'm gonna get involved in here. I'm gonna get this thing all apart, get the strings off, and I'm gonna show you guys how I like to smooth those out. So in case you're experiencing some string snapping down here, you can investigate and maybe find the cause of your problem. So like I said, we're gonna get into this 59. I've been having no issues yet, but some unwanted rattles and kind of that sitar-like sound. So you can see this high E saddle. I've already done what I'm about to do here with these other ones, and it's got a slight groove, you know, already. But the B string, you can, you know, and the G, you know, these are things that if you think at us bending, you know, we're bending like this, right? And if that is sitting in that groove and it wants to catch a sharp edge of that groove, it's gonna pop the string there. So I'll also give you another spot to look at. So right in here where the string travels through, if those edges are burred or rough or rusted like this, you know, that's also promoting a great spot for a string to snap. You may remember SRV's #1 guitar had some shrink tubing over this area, basically acting as a layer of protection for that string to glide through there without chafing the saddle and snapping. So that's another thing to look into and clean up on your guitar if you are having string breakage problems. And finally, I've done many videos about the bone nuts. Just one thing to look for, you can see this high E slot there. I'm gonna have to fix that because we got some problems there. But you wanna make sure your string is not getting pinched in that slot. You wanna make sure it's gliding through there smooth, there's no snags. And an easy way to just test it is just lift up on the string. It should kind of come out, you know, pretty easily on its own. It shouldn't have any resistance, or you shouldn't hear a snap when it comes out like that, see? So these are just things to look at. I always like to get at least 3 wraps on the tuning pegs with the string exiting the bottom, which gives you the proper pitch angle on the nut. It's just common practices, things I've always done. Yeah, I'm gonna get the strings off and I'm gonna promote it because they're a great set of strings. But I've had these strings on for about 2 weeks now. Really been playing a lot, and they're minimal dents underneath, but they just still have great tone. I'm just swapping them out because they've been on for a little bit, and you know, it's just, sometimes it's a little therapeutic to just put a new set of strings on and treat the guitar right, you know? There are a lot of you guys that ask about action and setup and whatnot. I mean, as far as my saddles, they're maxed out. And I have just the right amount of relief in the neck to give me what I need. I do use high action, and I do use a bit of a heavier gauge string. So, I mean, you know, that's basically my setup. A piece of tape and put it over these pickups just so we don't pick up anything and we don't damage anything. Again, this is one of those things where you don't need a bunch of fancy tools. You could take some you know, 800 grit and make it like a little sanding stick and get in there. Then you could take some 1000 and go over that and really smooth it out. But I've been a good boy, and I purchased myself a Dremel. This is an invaluable tool for guitar repairmen. You can do anything from sand at a high speed, cut at a high speed, buff. It acts as a small drill if you want to get into tight spots. But I mean, research these if you're into working on your own stuff and you really want a universal tool, it's great Dremel's, you know, it's classic brand, classic design. And yeah, man, it's kick-ass. So we're gonna get into this, and I'm gonna show you how I go about cleaning these up. But there you go, yeah, a nice little tool for the kit. So I did buy this, they call it a smoothing brush, and I wanted to try this first. This seems to be working pretty good. The great thing about the Dremel too is it has this extended arm, so you can really get tight in there. But I'll try to flip the camera and I'll try to focus on how I'm going about cleaning them. But this smoothing brush just seems to be doing it without any sanding or anything like that, which is good because I didn't want to make a mess everywhere. I'm just being patient. Little by little, there's no rush. What's really great too is in the kit they give you a almost like a buffing wheel and some polishing compound. So we're going to take that on a test drive right now, high speed. I did hit it with the brush one more time, and I'm just going to come in here and polish that up. So with this, you know, I wanted to keep in mind too and mention, I'm not trying to flatten those saddles, the tops of those saddles out, because they are extremely thin and you can go right through it very easily. All I'm really doing is taking the highs and the lows and leveling them down and smoothing them out. So when that string does go side to side, when we're bending this way, that string is going like this or that. It's just got a super smooth transition over that saddle, and nothing is pinching it, and there is no resistance. So I'm just taking caution, and like I said, I'm just smoothing everything over. This concludes that. Well, obviously, we've seen the saddles. They're cleaned up and smooth. I'm going to fix this nut slot here, and I'm also going to spray the pots out under the hood and do a couple little things, but I'll just keep the camera rolling and take you guys along with it. But, you know, I tape up the entire area. I go back through the nut slot with a file that's a little bit bigger than the string. This, I use a 13, but I mean, you could technically use, you know, a bigger string. And then I go through the groove that I've just made, clean that off. You can use alcohol, naphtha, whatever, you know what I mean? I just try to get all the grease and grime out of there, whatever is in there. And then I lay this custom baking soda in, and then I hit it with a dab of super glue. I'll let that dry up, and then I'll go back in there and reassess. But I really like when the super glue bites into the baking soda that I've laid in the groove and just kind of has a great reaction. So we'll check it in a minute. So yeah, I got the pick guard off while I was waiting for the super glue to dry over there at the bone nut. I always talk about this in some of the videos, but it's great to really see it. You can see how, you know, the red that they put in these guitars was very reactive to light, and it would kind of like just bleed out or fade. But because this area of the guitar is covered by the pick guard, you can really see like the red tint in here, and then how it's just the two-tone here, and it's like just the same down here. It's just really cool. You know, sometimes you overlook the fact that you have these beautiful pieces of history, and just to open it up and see like the nail holes And just to see, you know, all these marks in here, and the router marks here and here, you know, your worm route, and it's just really, really cool. I'm so grateful. I love this guitar to death. It's always going to be my #1. It's really cool just to see the transition there. Same guitar, but different finish. Oh yeah, and all I did under the hood here was just spray the pots out and really give everything a once over, make sure everything was looking healthy. Yep, that's it. It's just the original electronics, you know, my treble bleed cap there. So yeah, we get that all cleaned up, and you can see me starting to pre-cut that slot with a 10,000 saw, but it filled it in, took it nicely, and now I can just slot that as far down as I want to go. Pick guard is all back on. Just sprayed the pots out and put everything back. Got the saddles all cleaned up. Yeah, and I'm gonna put some strings on there. All right, so now that I have a gigantic mess on my kitchen table, we were able to fix the nut slot on the 59, sprayed out the pots, and we took the rough grooves out of the saddles. Really, really happy with it. I love this guitar. I showed you a little bit under the pick guard too with the color change over time because the sensitivity to light. These colors underneath the guard is really a 3-tone sunburst, and you see a 2-tone out here. But I love this guitar, and you know, I did sell the maple neck, so this is I've really been bonding with this one a lot more now. I'm gonna put my signature Kurt Mangen strings on here, my 56-10. No, I didn't pay for that. They put my name on them before you jump all over me. If you check last week's video, the channel is now endorsed by Kurt Mangen, and I really, really love these strings. They have a great broken in, clear, clean tone, and they just give that guitar that kind of rubbery feel, and I really like it. So I'm gonna string this thing up, and I hope you guys can apply some of these little on-the-go kind of backyard mechanic tech tips to keep the guitar rolling. I'm gonna string this up and I'm gonna get to playing. We got some videos coming up. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Mr. Cesar Diaz, his amazing pedals and his amazing amplifiers. I'm lucky to own some of that stuff, and I'd really like to talk about Cesar, and maybe Philip will chime in. Also, I was on the road with Philip for the last 3 days, so I'm just gonna give you a little synopsis of what that was like, and being at the venues and meeting a ton of you guys out there. I really, really was blown away at everybody that came up and wanted to take a picture with me or talk to me about some stuff. I was just, you know, I was really, really taken aback, and I had this with me, and you know, you guys got to check it out, and I was really, really grateful for everybody. And maybe I did a little jamming with Philip on stage on the last night.
Yeah. All right, that was fun. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Nick 70 sitting in. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
But might be a video about that. Anyways, guys, there's more videos coming soon, and I appreciate everybody. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Everybody who's got behind the channel and supported it and helped out, everybody who shook a hand, said hello, come out, all the positive feedback, all the likes, all the shares, and everybody who's just there to be cool. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk soon. Time to put some strings on. Peace!